Ugh, the British weather. Hey everyone, plan today was to go to a car boot and look for some nice computery things, but the weather's crap. So fine, I'm gonna show off what I found last time I went and hopefully make a bit of a series of this because there's always something fun to find. So let's start with what I found last time I went. And also get things everything cheap. So, without further ado, no push for the car boots, but this is the first episode of, we're calling it Car Boot Compy, because computer stuff. Though this isn't strictly, I suppose it is a computer, this isn't strictly a computer in the normal sense. It's a typewriter, but I like them, so let's go have a look. So here it is. This is how I found it. It cost me a whole £2 because the person just wanted to get rid of it. It is an Olymipa, one of their very later ones from what I can tell, 1988, I believe. And this is the original cover. It's a bit worn in places. So excuse the shadow. And a bit grubby, but underneath, while a little bit yellowed and a little bit sticky, we have a standard 200i AEG Olymipa. So yeah, I was quite happy because I do like a good electronic typewriter. There are models that have a screen here, but this model does not. It does need a clean, and I have no idea if it works. Keep hair, jewellery, etc. away from this area. Yeah, well, most of these are normally from a German, well, you find that because it's a German brand, that it's normally more German versions, but as you can see, nice. I think we'll take one of these keys off in a second, but buckling springs, maybe? I don't know, have a look. But it's in reasonably good condition, I think. I've not powered it up. So, let's plug it in. I'm interested to see how much power this thing draws. The back says 50 watt. But let's just quickly plug it in. There's like some sticky sap all over it. Ugh. Let me just clamber in front of the camera. Right, as I was saying, on the back there's a pat sticker saying it was last tested in '94, and I've just crushed my fingers trying to plug it in, but I've now plugged it in. One of the power pins on the back were bent, and this isn't earthed, which, you know, it should be fine. It's all plastic, so there shouldn't be any chance of electrocution. Power switch on the right. And we have life. There's a slight hum. And what is it drawing? It's drawing an absolute perfect, exact 30 watts. Ooh. Okay, it draws 34 watts when you type. Okay. So, I don't know what half these buttons would do. I know you can plug a floppy disk into these, but I don't know if that works if you haven't got the screen. I'll show the back in another shot. But caps lock, which I can't turn off. Okay, that's weird. You have to press shift to turn it off. Oh, that's quite nice. Okay, so we're set up for here, so I'm going to, if we adjust these, it should go further. Which it does not. So there's obviously a sensor regarding these somewhere. I don't know what. Honestly, I can't find the manual for this particular model. So I honestly don't have I'm not exactly sure what half that stuff over there does. But let me get some paper and see if this actually has any ink in it. Right, paper. Let's I suppose whatever, pop it in there. There you go. That's open. And I believe when he's in the way, I think that one. Oh, I know, I'll close it. There we go. Aha! Hang on. It's not right, is it? Well, now this is a question. Is the ribbon just dry? Probably. Let's have a look. Yes, dry as a bone. Like a little click when you turn it off. I mean, such a satisfying sound. Okay, well you can't. Yeah. Oh, hang on, look at that. Hang on. Don't think you can see that. We have, can't type, but it's like, oh, we have ink. That's actually shocking. Okay, so let's put that back to, I'm not entirely sure how it does. So this typing F. Wonder if it suffers from the old. Ah, look at that, it's got a buffer. That's kind of fun. See, after you've typed a little bit, you get a little click where it's almost like resetting. It's kind of fun actually, isn't it? You can nudge it forward. Okay, so we have code. Now, I don't know what this does. Everything have a go at me. Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if it's got... I mean, it's quite quick. It doesn't seem to make any difference at all, does it? I'm just playing around with Typewriter. Honestly, if I knew what I was doing... Well, I need the manual, if I'm honest. When I was a kid, I had a manual typewriter. Oops. I always wanted an electronic one because I like electronical things. But yeah, we have, you know, me typing nonsense. But yeah, there was no ink to begin with, so it was dry as a bone. But once we started typing and moved the ribbon on a bit, the ribbon actually has ink, which is fascinating. I need to clean this up and find the manual and have a proper play with it, because at the moment I'm just pressing keys. I'm surprised it works. For a whole £2 we have a lovely electronic typewriter. There is a port on the back which I'll show the picture again. I don't know what that's for. I need to find, like I said, I need to find the manual and work it out. I know that the standard, or the start type 130i, which has a screen along here, and I suspect the standard 200 has a variation with the screen. that there was a floppy drive that you could plug in. Along the back there we have a bunch of block top ports, so this is just a generic shell, but it's absolutely huge. So after restoring it, I will do another video on it, because I do love this kind of era technology, how you've got, well, we had computers this time of course, in the 80s, but they were, well, they were adequate, very expensive. Now this wouldn't have been cheap, but it would have been considerably cheaper than a computer. Plus, for people that don't want to use computers, because they were so complicated or seen as complicated, this was a more friendly option. But having a look inside, like the belt is fine. I can't see any issues there at all. Okay, there are people out there that's looking at me going, what are you doing? Okay, stop that. But it's much like dot matrix printers and things, it's fascinating how they work. I mean, this looks pretty new actually. I know you can still buy parts or the ink ribbons for this, so I'm surprised that hasn't completely degraded and just fallen apart, being as what's probably in there. But that looks in very good shape, and all of this looks very clean inside. I mean, there is dust and various bits of junk in here, but overall it is very clean. I mean, the foam hasn't given out, so it's not bad for being maybe 30 years old or coming up to 30 years old. So that's pretty impressive. I'm quite happy with that. So that's all I have to say today on this very, well, probably completely boring to most of you, but I find these things fascinating. I'm going to do a video cleaning it up. I mean, there's quite a lot of yellowing on the back and on here, but the rest of it seems pretty okay. So I'm guessing it was covered up most of the time, and some of these have just yellowed because of the type of plastic. I should be able to restore that and give us a nice clean. I mean, there's layers of dust, and there's like, I mean, that's just coming off there, that's just grime, greasy grime in fact. So give us a good clean. Oh, I did say I was going to take one of the keys off. Okay, let's take a key off then, shall we? I've turned it off. It draws 0 watts when off, which is nice, and it was drawing constant 30 watt when idle, so let's pop a key off. I don't know what's under here. I think it might be, based on that, maybe some kind of buckling spring or something. I mean, it might be a mechanical switch, but let's have a look. Just don't want to damage it. So because it looks like it might be a mechanical switch, we've got a nice, I don't know if you can see that, an O-ring in there to soften it a little bit. And that feels like, I mean, that could actually be membrane, I suppose. Or maybe a leaf switch or something. It's quite soft. So that's quite a nice typing experience. It's odd, you don't really need, that could be membrane actually. You don't really need quiet keys, since the sound of the typewriter, but I think that might be membrane actually. I don't know, it's odd for the 80s. Maybe leaf springs, because it's really quite soft. But anyway, that's all I want to say about this today. This is the AG Olympia 200i, which I picked up for £2 off car boot. I will need to now clean it up, try and get rid of the yellowing, restore this back to its former glory if I can. It's nice to see all the mechanisms works. Needs a complete dismantle and a proper clean up. So that's the project for the next few months. And I need to do some research on trying to find the manual, find out what all this stuff does, find out what the code is, or codes, for various functions, and have a proper mess around. I mean, we've got, clearly have spacing here for letters, and that is clearly bold and underlined. So there's obviously something to change that, I just don't know how to do it. And we'll have a proper deep dive into it. If the back is actually for a floppy drive, I would like to be able to get a floppy drive into there and see how that works, especially since there's no screen on this particular version. I mean, you might find some electronics that allow for it. I very much doubt it though. But yeah, and that's all I really want to say today. Sorry for a bit of ramble. This is more for my own enjoyment. And hopefully, when the weather improves, I'll be able to go out and find some more interesting stuff and share it with you, because you never know what you're going to find out there. People find in their basements or cellars and attics over the years, and they go and take it down the car boot and willing to sell it for a couple of pounds. And that's half the fun, isn't it? What can you pick up nice and cheap? So this is episode 1. Very badly formatted, granted. I hope to show more stuff on the future episodes of Car Boot Compy. Might change the name, but Car Boot Compy is for the time being. And that's it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.